Here we are on ClutchPoints.com. Friday the 13th, Jason Voorhees iconic looks ranked. This article dropped Wednesday morning. I wanted to get to it and talk about these looks with you guys. Big shout out to my editor, Goodstuff, for making this one so good, like all the other stuff you do. See what I did there? Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into this article.
Let's do it.
Our favorite Friday the 13th knife-wielding villain, Jason Voorhees, has made plenty of appearances throughout the franchise since 1980 when the horror started at Camp Crystal Lake. But what appearance is the worst and which one is the best? Get your hockey masks ready as we rank them.
Jason Goes to Hell.
Jason Goes to Hell. This one fared poorly considering Jason's hockey mask was fused into his skin, plus the concept of him being a body-hopping entity really didn't work well. Fans aren't sure they can forgive the fake muscles either. Sure, Jason can swing an axe, but we're pretty sure he doesn't hit the gym. Yeah, this was really messed up. This movie was ridiculous. This is probably my least favorite, along with Jason X, which we'll talk about, I'm sure. The 2009 remake and Freddy vs. Jason. Although I did like Ken Kersinger as Jason in Freddy vs. Jason. I just didn't like the movie at all.
No, sir. I didn't like it.
You really didn't have much to work with as far as Jason's look in Jason Goes to Hell either, because Jason's in the movie for, like less than 10 minutes.
Number 1.
Friday the 13th, 1980. The original classic film technically doesn't even feature Jason since the scenes are from a flashback and dream. His mom was the star villain who butchered camp counselors, and Jason just freaked us out when he launched at Alice. The scene was freaky and Jason was a bit decomposed. He was far from the Jason we know and love today. However, it was a scary scene, so props to that. Just regarding appearances, the first film ranks low for Jason fanatics. Well, yeah, I can see that because you just had that one scene of the flashback, him jumping out of the lake, as they mentioned in the article. Classic scene, which led us to where we are today. And my question being, this was a dream, obviously, because by this point, Jason had been dead for almost, dead, I say, for, missing, basically, as it were, for years. Jason had started living in that rundown shack, as we saw in part 2. Hillbilly Jason with his overalls and the pillowcase over his head in the second one. But he grew and metamorphosized from the look that they had in part 1 in the end sequence into part 2, into the unmasking. And there's the lore that he saw his mother killed that night and then retreated into the woods. And then there's the other school of thought to where he waited for her in the woods. She never came to look for him, so he just decided and resigned to live out there. And that's how we got the Jason we have now. Well, we got in part 2 anyway.
Manhattan.
Friday the 13th, Jason Takes Manhattan. The title alone is cringeworthy. No, it's not. It's not cringeworthy. Whoever wrote this article is an idiot for that one. Taking Jason out of his element in Camp Crystal Lake just doesn't really work. The killer's sporting a new hockey mask, and his outfit is black with just a few tears. More than frightening, he seems a bit more comical. You could see yourself grabbing a beer with him on Broadway and 56th and trying to figure out why he's having such a rough day. When unmasked, his actual face looks sluggish, and here again, it doesn't sit well with fans. There are scarier people on the Manhattan subways. Yeah, that's probably true. Never ridden on the Manhattan subways. Hopefully never will have to. But I don't see this Jason as comical in this movie. I didn't like the look when he was unmasked. His outfit didn't look too bad. All things considered, he was at the bottom of a lake. He should have looked more decayed than he did, much like the look in part 7, which I did like more. But this movie is not the greatest, but it's still better than the New Line stuff, if that makes sense.
X?
I told you we'd get to it. Here's Jason X. Jason does quite a few wardrobe changes in this one. At one point, he's completely demolished, and there's little left of him. But don't worry, he gets rebuilt. Nanobots. He gets silver robotics and gets a metal mask. It's not the scariest look, but it's not the worst Jason. Fans seem attached to the Uber Jason, as he's dubbed. Yeah, didn't like it. Stupid movie, sci-fi quality Friday the 13th movie, and it's little more than cannon fodder for me as horror goes.
It's not right. It's just not right.
It's not a Friday the 13th movie because it's Jason. Just like Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X, this one, they're not Friday the 13th. They're just shit.
Number 5.
Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning. Jason is not the killer in this movie. Instead, it's a copycat killer that looks like him. However, Jason does appear via hallucinations. So, like the original movie, he's technically not really in this one. And the hallucinations aren't a spectacular version of Jason. He's pretty simple looking, keeps the same look he had in Part 4. It would have been nice if he had switched it up in this one. See, I liked the dream sequence in the beginning of this one. I thought it was good, and I don't mind the simplistic looking Jason. I mean, I don't know what you're really looking for. Like, I love Part 6. It's my favorite one, my favorite look for him. But this is not a bad look. Also, Roy did a good Jason, I thought, too. As a replacement killer while he was technically dead between Part 4 and 6. I liked it. I don't hate Part 5 for what it did. I can understand why fans are mad because it's a bait and switch, but it still worked out really well. Danny Steinman, good job directing it, and we get a lot of sex in this one. Well, because Danny Steinman directed it. Never mind. Let's move on.
Jason and Freddy, different kind of...
Freddy vs. Jason, and it's fitting that there's a clip below starring Kelly Rowland because no matter what she do, all she think about is her boo. Making an appearance with a Nightmare on Elm Street's Freddy Krueger. Got me all Twitter-pated thinking of Kelly Rowland. This version of Jason is so-so. He's donning the classic hockey mask, and there's no great look at his face. Still, he pulls off the creepy vibe and isn't exactly welcoming. Looking like a giant walking undead zombie that you'd want to avoid. It's not the best or the worst. Well, like I said, Ken Kersinger, big guy, although they should have had Kane Hodder do this. It was a good look in a terrible movie.
That number again, 5.
And we go back to Friday the 13th Part 5 for Roy. His appearance here is spot on and iconic with the hockey mask, black pants, and creep factor. It's not the scariest Jason, but it's a satisfying one. This one lands in the middle. See, they already had a section on this, then they have another one. Yeah, this Jason was the Jason from the flashback sequence, which they talked about. We'll scroll back up here. So I'm not just crazy. They have right here A New Beginning, Part 5. And then we go down here after Freddy vs. Jason, and there's Part 5 again.
6.
My personal favorite, Jason Lives. Jason is more brutal and has wounds from the previous movies. His face is decomposed, and it's hard to tell he's human. This was his triumphant return after being absent in Part 5, and his look shows he lives and hasn't slowed down a bit in his murdering spree. Yeah, this was my favorite right here.
A New Blood.
A New Blood. Friday the 13th, Part 7. This Jason has been at the bottom of Crystal Lake, where he was decomposing. When resurfacing, he's as grotesque as ever. After being awoken from his watery slumber, Jason's decomposed look with a touch of a skull-like face makes this Jason a fan favorite. You can almost smell the lake water on him from the screen, as we see the lovely Lar Park Lincoln and her character Tina here, the telekinetic foil for Jason Voorhees in Part 7, which is an underrated gem. And again, there's a lot of that great 80s, sex in that one. And the kill scenes were really muted, but the Shout Factory DVD set and Blu-ray set did include those scenes.
The final chapter.
Friday the 13th, the final chapter. This is Part 4. This fourth film is similar to the third film that brought on the iconic hockey mask. There is a noticeable axe mark on his mask, which has become iconic. His face looks like the child's in the first film, making it extra scary. This version ranks up there for sure. Yeah, Part 4 has a great Jason, very, very aggressive, violent, and this scene where he kills this coroner in the very beginning of the movie couldn't feel more deserved, as this guy was a creep and nobody cared when he died. It was something to be cheered.
Number 2.
Here we go, Friday the 13th Part 2, our favorite pillowcase-wearing baddie. The movie that brought Jason into the mainstream featured him with a burlap sack over his head that had one eye hole cut out. This Jason is pretty human and seems to have no morals at all about who he kills on the land. It's an iconic look that fans still love to this day. With its realistic, normalized features, this ranks as a very freaky looking Jason. It's just a matter of whether you prefer the hockey mask or not. I do prefer the hockey mask, but that being said, this is an awesome movie. This is an awesome iteration of Jason, and the evolution of the character really has been fun to watch.
3.
Here we go, Friday the 13th Part 3. This is where Jason really takes shape. Hockey mask and all, he's always wearing his iconic green shirt and black pants, which gives him a human element. The killer's face is deformed, but he's got a normal look to him that adds a scary element to it all. The third installment sets the stage for all Jasons to come. Richard Brooker was a physically large man. They gave him that Frankenstein look with his outfit not quite fitting right. And yeah, just looked great when he took the mask off in the scenes to terrorize Chris. Just little cool subtleties, and the special effects on his face, the prosthetics look great.
It's 2009.
Friday the 13th, 2009. Jason goes back to his roots in this Friday the 13th reboot. Can you hear the enthusiasm just drain from my voice? Fans consider this to be the best Jason ever due to his scary demeanor, killer, no pun intended, look, and deadly habits. Where are these fans? Are they in the room with us right now? Because fuck this movie.
Because fuck them, that's why.
This 2009 remake has everything we like about previous Jasons, including the burlap sack. He's got a human demeanor, which makes him extra spooky. No. This is the Jason that can keep you up at night, and definitely you do not want to run into at Camp Crystal Lake or anywhere. Don't care. Didn't care if this isn't Friday the 13th. And they took parts 1 through 4 and just shoved them into this movie and were like, here you go. Yeah, no. No.
Shove it up your ass!
So there are the looks of Jason Voorhees ranked. I personally am a Part 6 fan, followed by 3, 4, and then 2, and then Part 7's up there too. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. If you're a channel member, you'll be getting this video a little bit early. If not, and you want to join, $2.99, $4.99 a month. And if you're a $4.99 Harvey Wakuian producer tier channel member, you can request videos just like this one or reviews. Let me know. I'm Etep Wakuian from The Place to Be Reviews. I've been here with all of yous. If you haven't subscribed yet, you can join the others and do so now. Ding the bell for notifications, and I will catch you on the next one.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
It's better to burn out than to fade away.
I could do this all day.
Cruise, thank you very much.
What's up, bro?
You're pushing your luck, little man.
No tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.